I'm the one who was here for a mate.
I'm the one that's very lucky to be here. Yeah, that's crazy. Like from the notes that I've seen, I think cardiac arrest at about 6:30 or 6:15 or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
it was early.
It was pretty early.
Yeah, we heard that call come in for a 39-year-old and having a seizure was the call that we heard. If you're a paramedic, you go, 40-year-old seizure. This time in the morning, it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be a seizure or a cardiac arrest. Just come racing out here, and the guys had you on the floor and they were working away on you. Yeah, so they were doing CPR and they had the pads on, and I came in as backup, as the intensive care backup. So I saw what was going on, sort of figured out what I needed to do, started drawing up some drugs and things and getting ready to put a tube down your neck to start breathing for you. So once we got the rhythm back, the heart rhythm back, we put you on our carry board, got you out to the stretcher and put you in the back of the ambulance. And started driving towards Wellington Hospital, sort of deciding what drugs and things we needed to give you on the way. So I started on the paperwork. Nobody had picked up what your name was at that stage, so I popped forward and Alicia was in the front seat, and of course I didn't know her, didn't recognise her. I said, what's his name? She said, Cliff. And I went, Cliff? Cliff who? She said, Cliff McLean. And I went, oh, no. Oh, I know him. So it was quite an emotional wee moment. Yeah. So yeah, when we got to Wellington Hospital, we wheeled you inside. They had a room ready for you. Lots of doctors waiting, lots of nurses waiting. And as we'd walked in, your dad was waiting at the hospital and he walked in with us. So seeing him as well and recognising him, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I don't remember anything apart from waking up in that ICU in late afternoon or early evening of that day. So yeah, that was pretty scary. Didn't really hit home until maybe, even we were talking about it the other day, days later. It was days later because I was going through Groundhog Day for those first, I think because that lack of oxygen and just that whole, the whole trauma to my body and the fact that I couldn't remember a thing.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's crazy after 30 years not seeing each other. And then, if you think about certain people being involved in that day, for me, if the things hadn't have gone the way they did, then I wouldn't be here today. It's as simple as that. There's not a day that goes by where I don't appreciate what we have. So.
So for me, I guess the story's a little bit different. 2 years ago at 6 o'clock in the morning, Cliffy was lying beside me and shaking, and I actually thought he was having a bad dream, to be honest. So like most people do, I gave him a good whack, and unfortunately the shaking didn't stop. I switched on the light thinking that he would pop his head up and go, "What are you doing?" But instead the shaking continued and I thought something wasn't quite right. So at that stage I leant over the bed, grabbed my cell phone and dialed 111. I remember listening to the operator at the end of the phone asking me if I needed an ambulance, and at that stage I said, "My partner's not breathing." She asked me to put him on the floor or onto a flat surface, and I don't quite remember doing that, but what I do remember is jumping up off the bed, putting Cliffy onto the floor and then opening all of the curtains in the bedroom and running into the lounge and opening all of the curtains in the lounge and turning the lights on to make sure that it was really easy for the ambulance to see that it was our house that I needed help. The woman at the end of the phone at that stage told me that my partner was going into cardiac arrest, and that I needed to start CPR. Just as I was about to start chest compressions on Cliffy, the ambulance service arrived. I guess the story gets a little bit blurry for me from there. All I remember is there being lots of people in the bedroom and having to shift the bed into a space where they could bring all of the gear in to work on Cliffy. They told me that Cliffy was non-responsive, which basically meant he wasn't alive and that they were doing their very best to bring him back. And at that very moment, I remember two things. I remember looking at his, I'm the one that's happy to have my family together.